The ousted Venezuelan leader and his wife pleaded not guilty to drug and weapons charges in a New York courtroom. The appearance comes 2 days after the United States captured Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores, in a military attack. Meanwhile, Delcy Rodriguez was sworn in as Venezuela's interim president. A report.
Ousted Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro made his first U.S. court appearance in New York, pleading not guilty to federal charges. He also insisted he's still in charge as Venezuela's president. Maduro's wife, Celia Flores, also pleaded not guilty to charges in the same hearing. Maduro is facing charges of narco-terrorism conspiracy, cocaine importation conspiracy, and weapon charges. The judge ordered both to remain behind bars and set a new hearing date of March 17th. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio briefed members of Congress regarding the U.S. military intervention in Venezuela, prompting a divided response from lawmakers on Capitol Hill. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer criticized the administration's plans, calling them vague and unsatisfying.
Well, this briefing, while very extensive and long, posed far more questions than it ever answered. Their plan for the U.S. running Venezuela is vague, based on wishful thinking, and unsatisfying.
The U.S. military operation in Venezuela was a decisive and justified action. Nicolas Maduro is responsible for the deaths of untold thousands of Americans after years of trafficking illegal drugs and violent cartel members into our country.
House Speaker Mike Johnson defended the operation, citing the detention of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro as a victory. U.S. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries said the Trump administration was misleading Americans by portraying the operation as a counter-narcotics or law enforcement action. Venezuelan's parliament swore in Delcy Rodriguez as interim president 2 days after U.S. forces seized her predecessor, Nicolas Maduro. Following the swearing ceremony of interim leader Delcy Rodriguez, thousands of protesters gathered demanding the release of ousted leader Nicolas Maduro. To discuss the U.S. operation in Venezuela and the capture of President Nicolas Maduro, the United Nations Security Council held a meeting in New York. During the meet, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres called for respect of nations' political independence following a U.S. military operation in Venezuela. At the emergency UNSC meeting, the United States rejected accusations of aggression against Venezuela, saying the operation was a law enforcement action tied to long-standing criminal charges. While Venezuela's UN ambassador Samuel Moncada said international norms were at risk and also urged the Security Council to demand that Washington release Maduro and his wife. In a series of shock announcements over the weekend, Trump then declared that the United States was in charge and intends to take control of Venezuela's huge but decrepit oil industry. President Trump also dismissed the idea of Venezuela having new elections in the next month. Bureau Report, DD India.